Hey guys, in this tutorial I will be going over how to make this animation. So, to start off, you can see I have this basic scene and we'll be going over how to make it. I recorded the video for this in advance, and so now I'm recording the audio after I recorded the video. So, I believe the end of this clip is coming soon, and next clip. So first, we go to terrain.party, and we basically move this blue square around. And the real thing, I set it to 25 kilometers, but move it around to like a mountain terrain. Like, so I'm gonna zoom out. I went to somewhere like Canada, around Canada and the United States. Basically, just drag it to some mountain range. A good way to find the mountain ranges, which I'll show in a second, is to go here and click on shaded relief. And this, yeah, you can see it shows the detail of the mountains. So I'm gonna reposition this 25 kilometers again, and I'm gonna zoom in, and you can see it updates. But I believe next scene, yeah. So now, once we've imported it, we're gonna add the rivers later, so that it should look like this without the rivers. But, well, you should just make a plane and make it big. You shouldn't have this yet. And once you have the plane, what you do is you add subdivide it a bunch, like 100 or something, and then add a subsurf modifier. And then add displacement texture, and the texture is going to be an image texture. And the image texture, I'm just going to find, when you download the terrain on terrain.party, it gives you 4 images. So it'll come in a second. Where is it? It's somewhere here. Oh yeah, here. Wait. Yeah. So you want to download the merged mountain type map merged.png. The one that says merge, you can name it, I think, yeah. So set the strength to 0.1. Set the strength to something that you like. I like 0.1. It's pretty good. This noise texture is for later, but the image texture is right. Yeah, it's right over here. You can see the image texture. But yeah. So now you add a subsurface you add a subsurface modifier at the end after that too, and also make sure to go to smooth shading, not flat, because then it shows all the pixels and stuff. And next scene. Okay, what are we gonna show in this scene? I believe it's like materials, or no, it's making the, yeah, so basically I just made a big plane and basically position it so that it creates lakes, or not lakes, rivers. And yeah, then you have rivers, and then I believe the scene after this is that. But you could just change the viewport color to blue in the. Also, make sure to go into cycles rendering. I forgot. But yeah, make sure to set the viewport color for the river to blue so that you can tell it. You can differentiate it from the mountains. So now you could just animate the camera so it flies through or something, whatever you want. You don't even have to animate it if you're just going to render one image, but yeah. So if you go into rendered mode, you can see I already have the materials, and that looks like a gold river, but believe me, that's it'll have the lake like through the camera. It's just that like we're looking through the sand at like a top angle. If you want it to be blue on a top angle, then you could change it to glossy if you want it to be, yeah. But since I want it to just be a little lake that you could kind of see, a little stream that you could kind of see through, then I made a glass shader with an IOR of 1.333 because that's the IOR of water, and I made the roughness 0.002. So I'm just showing it here. I'm probably gonna speed this video up at the very end because I'm just waiting for it to get to the next thing. Oh yeah, then I added a bump map with the noise texture, and I just plugged that into the diffuse. Don't plug it into the displacement. That's a bug that I made. Just don't do that, okay? No one does that. But yeah, that's just to give it a little bit of waves because it just looks plain and flat otherwise. So now, just the next scene. I believe we're going to go over the mountain material. Now the mountain material I made a little bit more complicated. In the final render, all I did was render a diffuse. I should have mixed it with a glossy too. But, I don't know. If you wanted it to have like, wait. Oh yeah, you could set the camera stuff to depth of field. I didn't do that in the final thing, which I should have. So many things I should have done to make it better, but yeah, just set PNG and stuff. But yeah, just add a mix shader with the Fresnel node with diffuse and glossy, and then add bumps. I did branched path tracing here. But basically, yeah, for the landscape, just add a diffuse and glossy, mix it with a Fresnel node, and just color it, and then add a noise texture for the displacement. Unfortunately, the clip where I show that has been deleted. But this is the clip where we just have the settings. So basically, you set the, yeah. We're using more diffuse, glossy, and transmission. I gave 2, and then the rest are 1, and I set it to 5, and then square samples, which means that square is the number of samples. I left the bounces things the same, and I set filter glossy to 1, and a little bit of motion blur 0.1, and I used the auto tile size add-on to calculate a good tile size for my computer. So I do recommend that. You don't have to download it. It's in the panel already. But yep, you can mess around with these settings, I guess. Just I left it as normal. Yep. And now comes the post-processing. This is the first section of the post-processing we did. And I'm just going to show you how the render turned out. So I have all these image textures, and then I have the render, which here it is. Yeah. It takes a long time to convert. You know, QuickTime makes your computer so slow. Even if it's fast, it makes it really slow. Here it is. So just very basic, flying through. Looks kind of dull. That's why we need compositing. So, yeah. Basically what I did is I added a glare node with fog glow. Oh yeah, add a movie clip with the animation, but fog glow. And just mess around with the threshold until it glows. See the difference it makes. It kind of, yeah, it makes it look better. Just add it. And then in a separate one, in a separate one, I added a sunbeams. And what that does, it's kind of slow, but I positioned it at 0.9, 0.9, which means that it's positioned on the sky. So it's basically sunbeams, and it makes it look better. You saw in the real thing. I didn't animate it very well, but yeah, set keyframes for it. That's why it's green, so that it looks good. If you have a sun in the scene that you made, then I recommend having it. But then I put it alpha over, so I layered them on top of each other, and then finally I put a lens distortion, distort of 0.005 and a dispersion of 0.01. And then don't forget to put in your viewer node if you want to view it, and composite node, because that's where the image is. Okay. And then I set it to film, just a basic film. Don't do anything else, because we're gonna do a second compositing for all the color gradings that we did. Now, I want to have the previous one saved. Now we're going to do the second composite. So you can see we have some nice color grading. It actually adds a lot of warm colors to the scene. And yeah, also in the background, I just added a sky image, but so have your movie clip and a glare node. I added another glare node for more glare. Just set it to keep it at default because it's already at film, and then I turned up the exposure and down the gamma, and I switched the camera to a Kodak DSCS3152 because I thought that the color grading on that looked good. Now that's with the glare. So I just kind of toned down that glare, mixing both of them, because I think, yeah, it makes a subtle difference, but I think that was too much glare. Then we add an offset power slope color grading, because that's the accurate way to color grade it. And then I added the speckle node just to remove the graininess, because there's a tiny bit of graininess. And then I add another lens distortion, which in the final render, I forgot to plug it into the composite node. But it would have definitely looked better if I had the lens distortion. And I'm too lazy to just re-render it with the lens distortion, because I'm a lazy dude. Yeah. Anyways, this is nearing the end of the tutorial. I hoped yours turned out well. I think I'm actually saying this, I hope yours turned out well thing, like, soon. Maybe this is the part where I say it. Yeah, okay. Well, please watch the rest of my videos. Here comes the scene again, but thanks for watching, and bye.